A woman walked into a powerful company holding a mop. People laughed at her, ignored her, even insulted her. What they didn't know, she wasn't just a cleaner, she was the CEO's mother, sent to watch everything and everyone. While some showed kindness, others revealed their true colors. And when the truth came out, their careers were over in minutes. But one young intern, her simple act of respect changed her life forever. What happened next shocked the whole company, and it all began with a secret test no one saw coming. In a big city, inside one of the tallest office buildings, there was a successful company run by a young black woman named Alyssa Jordan. She was smart, confident, and had worked hard to build her company from the ground up. But recently, she started hearing rumors. Some employees were being rude to the cleaning staff. And worse, they treated people differently based on how they looked. Alyssa didn't want to jump to conclusions, so she came up with a plan, one that no one would see coming. She called her mom, Miss Loretta, a retired school teacher with a sharp eye and a kind heart. "Mum," Alyssa said, "I need your help. I want to know how my employees treat people when they think no one's watching." The next morning, Miss Loretta walked into the office, not in a fancy dress, but in a simple blue cleaner's uniform. She held a mop in one hand and a quiet smile on her face. No one knew who she was. To them, she was just the new janitor. But what she saw that day shocked her. Miss Loretta quietly moved through the office, wiping desks and emptying trash bins. She greeted everyone politely with a gentle, "Good morning," and a warm smile. But most of the employees didn't even look at her. Some ignored her completely, others rolled their eyes or acted annoyed when she came near. But one group stood out. 3 young employees sitting near the break room laughed loudly as Miss Loretta walked by. One of them whispered, but loud enough for her to hear, "Why do they keep hiring people like her? This isn't a cleaning company." Another added with a smirk, "Next time, at least get someone who speaks English." They all laughed. Miss Loretta didn't say a word. She kept her head down, but inside, her heart was heavy. Later, as she went to clean the conference room, she accidentally bumped into a tall man in a suit. "Watch where you're going, lady," he snapped. Then, without even helping her, he turned and walked away. But not everyone was cruel. A young intern named Maya noticed what was happening. She walked up to Miss Loretta, handed her a bottle of water, and said softly, "You shouldn't be treated like that. I'm so sorry." Miss Loretta smiled. "Thank you, dear. That means a lot." What Maya didn't know was that her kindness was about to change her life. At the end of the day, Miss Loretta quietly left the building, still wearing her janitor uniform. But as soon as she stepped outside, her calm smile returned. She pulled out her phone and called her daughter. "Alyssa," she said, "you were right. Some of your employees, they're not just rude, they're cruel. But there's one girl, Maya. She's different." Alyssa sighed. "I had a feeling. Thank you, Mum. I know what I need to do." The next morning, the office was buzzing like usual, until the receptionist made a surprising announcement over the intercom. "Everyone, please gather in the conference room. The CEO will be making a special appearance." The employees shuffled in, whispering and wondering what it was all about. Some looked nervous, others were curious. Then the doors opened, and in walked Alyssa Jordan, dressed in a sharp black blazer and heels. But right behind her was Miss Loretta. Gasps filled the room. "Wait, isn't that the janitor?" one employee muttered. Alyssa stepped forward and said loudly, "Before I say anything, I want you all to meet someone very special. This is my mother. And yesterday, she was here, working as a cleaner, watching how every one of you treated her." The room went dead silent. Alyssa slowly walked to the center of the room, her eyes scanning the faces of her employees. Some looked confused. Others were already sweating. "She came here," Alyssa continued, "not to clean your mess, but to test your character, to see how you treat people you think are beneath you. And let me tell you, some of you failed." She turned to Miss Loretta. "Mum, would you like to say what you saw?" Miss Loretta nodded. She looked around the room, her voice calm but firm. "I said good morning to many of you. Most didn't respond. Some rolled their eyes. A few made nasty comments behind my back, even to my face. One man yelled at me when I accidentally brushed past him, but one person, just one, showed kindness." She turned toward Maya and smiled. "This young lady offered me water. She spoke gently to me, and she apologized for how others behaved, even though it wasn't her fault. That's what real character looks like." Everyone looked at Maya, who sat frozen in shock. Alyssa stepped forward again. "So here's what's going to happen," she said. "Some of you will pack your things today, because if you can't respect the people who keep this office clean, then you don't belong here." Then she turned to Maya. "And you're getting a promotion?" The room exploded with whispers. "Wait, what? A promotion? She was just an intern." Maya sat frozen, her eyes wide. "Me?" she whispered. Alyssa nodded. "Yes, you. Your kindness was real. You didn't know she was my mother. You didn't know she had any power. You treated her with respect, because that's just who you are. And that's the kind of person I want on my leadership team." One of the men who had laughed near the break room, the one who made the cruel comment, stood up nervously. "Miss Jordan, I didn't mean what I said. I was just joking." But Alyssa raised her hand. "Don't waste your breath. You weren't joking when you said people like her don't belong here. You meant every word." She looked at the security guards waiting by the door. "Kindly escort him and his 2 friends out of this building, permanently." The guards walked forward. The 3 employees tried to explain, stutter, beg, but it was too late. As they were led out, silence fell over the rest of the room. Alyssa looked at her team one last time and said, "Let this be a reminder. Kindness is not optional here. Respect isn't earned by a title. It's shown to every person, no matter what uniform they wear." And then she smiled. Meeting adjourned. After the meeting, most employees walked out in stunned silence. A few were embarrassed, a few were inspired, but one person was still sitting there, holding back tears. It was Maya. Alyssa walked over to her and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You okay?" she asked with a smile. Maya nodded slowly. I didn't do anything special. I just treated her like a person." "And that's exactly why it's special," Alyssa replied. She handed Maya a small envelope. Inside was a formal letter. "Promotion to Junior Operations Manager, effective immediately." Maya gasped. "I've only been here for 2 months." Alyssa smiled. "And in 2 months, you've shown more integrity than people who've been here for years." Miss Loretta came up beside her and gave Maya a warm hug. "You reminded me of my old students, the ones I was proud to teach." Maya's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were happy ones. As the 3 of them stood there, something shifted in the office. People started to talk about kindness, about change, and about how things would never be the same again. From that day forward, employees were more careful with their words, more respectful to each other, more aware of who might be watching, because at that company you never knew who the cleaner might really be. A few weeks later, the company's vibe had completely changed. The break room, once filled with whispers and fake smiles, was now a place of laughter and respect. Employees greeted each other warmly, even the cleaning staff, security guards and delivery workers. People held doors open, said thank you, looked each other in the eye. And at the center of it all was Maya. She wasn't just the new junior manager, she had become a symbol of the company's new culture. Whenever new employees joined, they were told the story of the day the CEO's mom went undercover. It became a legend inside the company. One afternoon, as Alyssa stood by the big office window overlooking the city, Miss Loretta walked in with a cup of tea. "You did good, baby," she said. "No, we did good," Alyssa replied, smiling. "And Maya? She's going to do even better." Down the hall, Maya was helping another intern settle in. She offered him water, asked how his first day was going, gave him a tour. He looked confused. "Wait, are you the intern or the manager?" Maya just smiled and said, "Does it matter?" One rainy morning, about a month later, something unexpected happened. Security at the front desk called up to Alyssa's office. "Ma'am, someone's here asking to speak with you. Says his name is Troy Benson." Alyssa's face changed. That name sounded familiar. Then it hit her. Troy was one of the employees who had mocked her mum, one of the 3 who got fired on the spot. "Send him to the lobby, I'll meet him there," she said. When she arrived, she found Troy standing awkwardly by the glass door. He looked completely different. No expensive suit, no arrogance, just a plain jacket soaked from the rain and eyes full of regret. "Alyssa," he said softly, I just wanted to say I'm sorry." She crossed her arms. "Sorry for what exactly?" "For how I treated your mother, for how I looked down on people. I lost my job, but I gained perspective. No one else would hire me after what happened. So I started working at a local shelter, just to stay busy. I've learned more cleaning floors and serving food than I ever did sitting behind a desk." He paused. "I'm not here to ask for my job back. I know I don't deserve it. I just wanted to say thank you for waking me up." Alyssa looked at him for a long moment, then said, "Growth begins when ego ends. I hope you keep growing, Troy." She didn't offer him a job. She didn't shake his hand, but she gave him something better, a chance to walk away, changed, and he did. A few days later, Maya was called into Alyssa's office again, this time for a private meeting. She walked in nervously, clutching her notebook, thinking maybe she had made a mistake. But Alyssa smiled and waved her over. "Relax, Maya, you're not in trouble," she said warmly. Maya sat down, and Alyssa slid a folder across the desk. "I've been watching you closely these past weeks. You've handled pressure with grace, treated every employee with respect, and shown leadership I didn't even see in people twice your age." Maya opened the folder. Inside was a proposal for a new diversity and employee wellness program, and at the bottom, her name was listed as the project lead. "Wait, you want me to lead this?" Maya said, eyes wide. "Yes," Alyssa nodded. "You've been through it. You understand what it feels like to be overlooked and to rise above it. I want that heart at the center of this company." Maya sat, speechless for a moment, then smiled slowly. "I won't let you down." "You haven't so far," Alyssa said, standing up and offering her a hand. They shook hands, not as intern and CEO, but as 2 strong black women ready to reshape a company's future together. From that moment on, Maya wasn't just a worker in the background, she was a voice in the room, a decision maker, a protector of dignity. And thanks to her and the undercover visit of one very wise mother, the company became more than just a business. It became a family. 1 year later, the company was nearly unrecognizable in the best way. Diversity had grown, not just in the people they hired, but in the voices being heard. The workplace was buzzing with positive energy, mutual respect, and new ideas. And at the heart of it all was Maya. Now a confident and respected director of people and culture, she stood on stage at the company's annual leadership event. Hundreds of employees, partners, and guests were seated, waiting to hear her speak. Behind her was a giant screen that read, "The Power of Kindness, from Intern to Director." Maya took a deep breath and began. "A year ago I was sitting where you are now, not even sure if I belonged. But one small act of kindness changed my life, and it turns out it also changed this company." She paused, smiling gently at the front row where Alyssa and Miss Loretta were seated, both beaming with pride. "This story isn't about me. It's about how you treat people when you think no one's watching. Because someone always is, whether it's a CEO, a cleaner, or someone's mom in disguise." The crowd laughed softly. "I used to wonder if kindness really mattered in business. Now I know it's the foundation, and if we lead with that, success will always follow." Thunderous applause filled the room. Some people stood, a few wiped away tears. As Maya stepped down, Alyssa hugged her and whispered, "You were never just an intern. You were always meant for more." And as they stood together on that stage, it was clear. This story started with a test, but it ended with a transformation. After the event, as people mingled and took photos, Maya stepped outside for a moment to get some air. The sun was setting, painting the sky gold and pink. She stood quietly, thinking about how much her life had changed in just 1 year. Suddenly a voice spoke behind her. "Excuse me, Maya?" She turned around to see a woman in a tailored grey suit. She looked polished, confident, and vaguely familiar. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" Maya asked. The woman smiled. "Not yet, but I know you. My name is Elaine Jacobs. I'm the Chief Talent Officer at Forbes Enterprises." Maya's eyes widened. "Yes, that Forbes," Elaine chuckled. "We've been following your journey ever since the viral article about the Undercover CEO's mom, what you've done here. It's inspiring and rare." She handed Maya a sleek black business card. "I'd like to offer you a seat on the National Young Leaders Advisory Board. You'll be speaking at events, mentoring rising stars, and helping shape future workplace policies, not just in one company but across the entire industry." Maya was speechless. I don't even know what to say." Elaine smiled. "Say yes, because kindness doesn't just change companies, Maya. It changes the world." As Maya looked down at the card in her hand, one word echoed in her mind. Yes. 2 months after joining the Forbes Young Leaders Board, Maya stood in a packed auditorium in New York City, sharing the stage with CEOs, politicians, and innovators from around the world. Her talk, Leadership with Heart, was one of the most anticipated of the event. And when she spoke, the room fell silent. But even with all the cameras, the flashing lights, the applause, Maya's heart remained the same. After the event, she flew back home. And the first thing she did? She visited the very same office where it all began, where she was once ignored as an intern, where her kindness changed everything. As she walked through the halls, employees smiled and waved. Some stopped her just to say thank you for making the company what it had become. And when she opened the door to her mother's old break room, there was a plaque on the wall. It read, "In honor of Miss Loretta, for reminding us that character is what you show when you think no one's watching." Maya smiled. Her mom, now happily retired, still visited every now and then, and every time she did, people stood up to greet her, with respect. Maya knew the journey wasn't over, but as she looked around, she also knew the mission was clear, the impact was real, and her story, born from one small act of kindness, was now changing lives across the world.